What I want to know about the Kathleen Kennedy situation. We'll just have like a conversation about this, right? I guess it's all starting to kind of get out there a bit. I saw Geeks and Gamers covered it. I saw Jeremy talking about it a little bit. Which, by the way, open invitation to Jeremy if he wants to hit me up. I tweeted at him, or I replied under his post, and I said, I think we should talk about this on live stream. It's totally up to Jeremy if he doesn't want to do it or whatever. But I think it'll be kind of interesting because Jeremy and I actually have a history with this exact topic and sort of talking about this way back in the day. We did some live streams. I made a video about the fandom menace. Interestingly enough, within that video, I pulled this clip of Jeremy from a live stream, and a lot of people got mad at me because they said it was like a gotcha, or like I pulled out like a really selective clip or whatever, which, it's kind of ironic because I think nowadays Jeremy like really leans into grifting from what I understand. So like, I think he would actually even more so appreciate the point I was making.
So Jeremy saw this, and here's Jeremy's response to, let me put this up. Here it is. Here's Jeremy's response to Josh's invitation to do a collaboration. Play it.
Oh, this one. This is the one. This is the one.
What I want to know about the Kathleen Kennedy situation. We'll just have like a conversation about this, right? I guess, it's all starting to kind of get out there a bit. I saw Geeks and Gamers covered it. I saw Jeremy talking about it a little bit, which, by the way, open invitation to Jeremy if he wants to hit me up. I tweeted at him, or I replied under his post, and I said, I think we should talk about this on live stream. It's totally up to Jeremy if he doesn't want to do it or whatever.
So this is the type of stuff I'm talking about. If you didn't want to talk to me before I responded to what, in my opinion, is a nonsensical story, then I don't want to talk to you now that I've called it out. Like, I only care to talk to people that are interested in talking to me for genuine reasons, not for, let's get some clout out of this.
Oh,
let's have a discussion, man.
Oh,
no. And I got, like I said in my video, like,
oh, Jeremy said no. How's it feel, Josh? How does it feel, Josh? Jeremy doesn't want to talk to Josh. At least Jeremy was more polite about it than Josh was when Darth Melvin was supposed to come on Nerd Theory, and his co-host, Star Wars Theory, whose channel they were doing the show on, wanted to have Darth Melvin on the show, and Joshy said no and proceeded to attack him personally, and even was bringing up the fake Discord drama in order to try and not get Darth Melvin on the show. Josh. So at least Jeremy was a little bit more polite about it than you were with regards to Darth Melvin. Maybe if you had Darth Melvin come on Nerd Theory, like because he was invited on by Theory to come and have a debate with you, and you threw a fucking tantrum. We covered that on the show a couple weeks ago. There's a stream highlight on Mr. Grizzly 2.0. We covered that. He had a meltdown over it and cried and whined and then started pushing fake news, all to keep Darth Melvin off the show. And we got OG Star Wars in the chat. We got a fucking gatekeeper in the chat.
There's a fucking gatekeeper. There's a fucking gatekeeper.
Fucking gatekeeper in the chat. What's up, OG Star Wars? I saw you talking in the chat earlier. Glad you could make it. Yeah, I think he's terrified of Darth Melvin. They didn't even do a show last Monday as well. It's probably trying to get the super chat trolls out of the show. So they quit reading the super chats from the Melvin trolls during the show. They just skip over him now. All right, we got a lot to get to with Joshy boy here, so let's jump ahead here.
And Kennedy, when you really get into it, if you really want to peel back the layers, and of course I'm discussing, for those unaware, I guess I should just say I'm discussing the sort of emerging narrative that Kathleen Kennedy might not have been the Sith Lord that ruined Star Wars, and in fact, Bob Iger might be the one that takes the majority of the blame.
So Josh is still, chat, he is still pushing the forgive Kathleen Kennedy train. Kathleen Kennedy is the victim now, according to Josh over at Den of Shills. And reminder, this is what Josh said about Kathleen Kennedy 4 weeks ago.
You have fucking ripped from my fucking chest the last little bit of hope that I could float towards this fucking dead-ass franchise, that maybe some motherfucker with a vision that actually had artistic integrity would take these characters, take the spirit, take the motifs, the fucking values that Star Wars had, and actually cook in the 21st century. But no, that's not what we can get, because there's a fucking gatekeeper. There's a fucking gatekeeper, and it's this bitch, dude. It's this fucking... We're cooked.
That was Josh 4 weeks ago, not even a month ago, talking about Kathleen Kennedy. Quite the flip-flop, if I do say so myself personally.
Well, I'm sorry, dude. It doesn't fucking matter when your pitch gets brought in front of Kathleen Kennedy, the wicked fucking witch.
Called her the Wicked Witch. Oh, I received new information and my opinion has changed. Well, let's continue, because we got something interesting coming up.
Of course, Kathleen Kennedy is not innocent. She was the president of the company, and she oversaw, I think, the fall of one of the best brands ever, but it's like one of the worst falls ever. So either way, she's not going to come out of this clean. But the point is, actual new information has come to light. I have actual new information from a very reliable source. And I'm personally reinvestigating a lot of the things that I've said and the thoughts I've had about what's been going on with Star Wars. And the point that I'm making, to take it all the way back to Jeremy, is that it literally did become a thing algorithmically that if you blamed stuff on Kathleen Kennedy, you would get clicks. That didn't last, but it certainly was a moment. And a lot of people cashed in on that moment. And just like Brie Larson, and just like
including you, Josh. We just listened to you talking about Kathleen Kennedy 4 weeks ago, including you.
These other people, like, the crime doesn't necessarily, or the punishment doesn't necessarily fit the crime. That's internet shit. Like, you can't really control that. Like, sometimes something you do, you become a lol cow, or, you know, the internet narrative takes hold of something.
I think Josh is quickly becoming a lol cow, especially with that display a few weeks ago, refusing to let Darth Melvin on Nerd Theory after he was already invited by Star Wars Theory. And the Den of 90K shit as well.
And I certainly know, I've been on all sides of that, right? So I know what that's like. But for the sake of transparency, I think it's maybe important to just maybe actually admit that there was a moment where people leaned in to the narratives around Kathleen Kennedy for the sake of clicks, content, and clout.
Josh, you jumped in with both feet 4 weeks ago, calling her a bitch. And now you're trying to walk it back. Look how serious face, Joshy boy.
And I guess it's up to you to decide, was that deserved? How much of that was, how bad should those people feel? Should they apologize at all? Like, what, you know what I mean? Like, the context of all of that is kind of like subjective. The way you make sense of it is up to you. But I think at the very least, like, I guess for navigating, I'm trying to navigate the whole situation, right?
Okay, now this next part, I have this one circled. So let's hear what he has to say here.
I'm just trying to, like, figure out the truth.
Oh.
You know?
Oh, he's trying to figure. Investigative journalist, Joshy boy, Den of Nerds.
Now, a lot of people ask me, right, why didn't you know this before? Or, like, why didn't your source ever bring this up before? Right? And then I think that's fair. Maybe some of you...
Now, who said that last week, chat? Who said that last week? That was yours truly right here. I was saying that last week. I was saying if Kathleen Kennedy were the victim, if Kathleen Kennedy were the scapegoat for Bob Iger, and your source knew this all the way back when The Rise of Skywalker came out, why are you just now reporting on this?
people ask me, right? Why didn't you know this before? Or like, why didn't your source ever bring this up before?
Wait till you hear what he
Right.
said.
And then I think that's fair. Maybe some of you in chat could let me know if that's sort of a question you had or something you were sort of feeling with the whole situation. I think that's totally fair. You know, the truth is, I was told this many fucking times over the last many years.
Oh, wait a minute.
But it was never presented to me in such a way as to allow me to really sit with what it was overall. Now, maybe some of that.
So you're telling us now that you did receive reports over this, but clearly you didn't believe them because you were bitching about Kennedy for years. You called her a bitch just 4 weeks ago. And what the hunt for Ben Solo being denied, that is what put things over the edge. A common sense decision made by the higher ups, it is made by Iger, a needle in a haystack, common sense decision made by Bob Iger to say, yeah, the character's dead. We're not going to bring him back. That is what finally pushed you over the edge to accept that this source was true now? Now you believe this shit? Exactly. He is just pulling shit out of his ass. He's pulling shit out of his fucking ass. What is this source? Who is this source? Cite the source. This is his entire grift. It's just rumors, 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 rumors. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. It's true.
Because it all hadn't happened yet, right? I mean, think about it. We're talking about since really 2014. You're talking about.
I don't believe anything. Everything this guy says, I am skeptical of.
10 years, basically 8 years of hard news covering all of this stuff. And I was front row for the whole thing. I started the channel right around the time that the acquisition was happening for us.
I just don't get it. If it was in the back of your mind that this might not be Kathleen, so then you were just joining the grift then, right, Josh? You were just joining the Kathleen Kennedy hate train when you supposedly had information that Kathleen Kennedy was just the scapegoat. Bob Iger was forcing Kathleen Kennedy to do all this shit. Bob Iger was forcing Kathleen Kennedy to shove Ray down the fans' throats. I'm sure that's what he was doing.
I don't know. I had been told various things throughout the years about this situation, and I'd sort of looked past it. I couldn't really believe it, and it was just never presented to me in a way that was like very clear. I was like, oh shit, like this is actually what happened.
Again, the hunt for Ben Solo being rejected apparently is what caused the flip-flop, finally. After years and years and years and years of hearing this, the hunt for Ben Solo. Because Ben Solo is just a fucking goated character in Star Wars, right, Josh? I thought Josh hated the sequel trilogy. I thought Josh, well, he didn't at first. I've seen the clips. I've seen the old videos. I've seen the Why Ray is Not a Mary Sue video that Josh did. We might have to take a look at that in a future stream. I've seen the Ray is Not a Mary Sue video that Josh did. Maybe Josh is a fan of the sequels. I don't know. He claims he's not. Again, that's just another flip-flop. That's just another flip-flop, chat. My bad. I forgot. This is Den of Flip-Flops.
So that's that. I will also say this. I had a tweet the other day where I said, hey, anybody know some shit? Anybody want to talk some shit on Bob Iger? You know, DM's open. Guys.
I responded and Joshy ignored me.
You would be
close your eyes, Josh. Pretend Mr. Grizzy is not real. Hashtag Grizzy is real.
Shocked at how many people hit me up with various stories. By the way, also shocking to me that some very, very high profile people watch this stream because I'm so fucking bad at this. I don't understand that at all. But thank you.
High profile people, because your fucking rumor was so fucking ridiculous. It was such an insane flip-flop that people like had to talk about it. Seriously, a guy was trashing Kathleen Kennedy for years. Now she's the victim, she's not at fault, yeah, people are going to talk about it, you clown.
I guess sometimes I do better than others, so maybe it's more watchable sometimes. But
anyway, let's see here. We're gonna jump ahead a little bit. I think Joshy might have to be in here. Might have to be in for the vote, you guys.
authority from multiple people that Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm wanted all eras of Star Wars represented in the parks. They wanted all of Star Wars to be
Okay, so now he's talking about the park. You know how the parks, they have all the sequel trilogy shit in the parks. He's claiming that Kathleen Kennedy wanted all eras, prequels, OT, and sequels represented in the parks now. Now he's claiming this. Now this is the new rumor.
eras of Star Wars represented in the parks. They wanted all of Star Wars to be celebrated, and we're drawing up plans that maybe I've even seen for
Have you seen them or haven't you, Josh?
a more fan-forward Star Wars park situation.
I don't know about you guys, but I trust OG Star Wars more than I trust Josh Den of Shills. OG Star Wars has a proven track record of being correct, and Josh has a proven track record of completely flip-flopping.
And it's just one more, really. But damn. Yeah.
Great content, Josh.
That's not true. Okay, Dave does that. I will believe.
So people in the chat, people in his own chat calling him out, getting a little heated by it.
That's not true. Okay, Dave does that. I will believe. I'm going to just choose to believe, not my vetted sources, not the very high profile people.
So everything we just heard, that's not the Omega source. That's not the Alpha source. This is just other sources that are telling him this, but he's going to come out and talk about it.
That hit me up and put their career on the line, just so that I would.
Josh, they're not really putting their career on the line if you're not naming them. If it's an anonymous source, how are they putting their career on the line? They're putting their career on the line when they put their name on something. Clearly, Josh, all these people do not want to put their names on it when they tell you this shit, because you never name your sources. So clearly, that is reason to be skeptical.
You know what I mean? To trust me, I'm going to trust, what's this guy's name? Dave something or other? I'm going to trust Dave something or other in the chat. 100%.
I mean, you might as well, Josh. I mean, I think Dave something or other in the chat has just about as much credibility as your fake sources do, personally. I would trust Dave something or other in your chat over over the Omega source, personally.
Hey, look, this isn't popular, but this is what it is. Have actually endured the content to some people. There's some people out there that really appreciate the fact that I will die on this fence.
Hashtag fence rider. Josh patting himself on the back for being a Disney Star Wars fence rider, of course.
And that I'm always willing to reinvestigate how I feel and change how I feel about things when new information comes in. And I just try
that's a really like PC way of saying, yeah, I flip flop whenever I want to think or believe a certain way. Whenever the fandom wants more sequel content, I want more sequel content. Whenever the fans hate sequel content, whenever they hate Rey. Remember, he just a month ago as well was whining about Rey being in Star Wars Starfighter because Disney Star Wars needs to distance themselves from the sequels. Now he wants the Hunt for Kylo or the Hunt for Ben Solo movie to happen, which would also be a sequel to the story of a continuation of the sequel trilogy. Ridiculous.
Fair and accurate. I think I'm also a total fucking goofball which maybe undermines the
Anyway, how much more do we have of this guy?
years ago.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. He's gotta use George Lucas. He's got to use clips of George Lucas as well. This is disrespectful as hell, in my opinion. He's got to use clips of George Lucas to try and prove what he's saying now is correct.
Big interview that was put out 12 years ago. 12 years. 12 years. This was right around the time of the announcement of George's retirement, of Kathleen stepping into the role, taking over the company, and the Disney acquisition. And there's a 3-part interview. They're not long. I think it's like about 10, 15 minutes of video overall. There's a 3-part interview with George and Kathy talking about this. And I swear to God, man, I swear to God, I watched this yesterday with the new context of everything. Okay?
Oh.
And I'm not even kidding. I got emotional.
Joshy got emotional. I wonder why. Why'd you get emotional, Josh?
Okay. Because look, it's all silly games. It's all fun. We're on the internet. You know, we're not supposed to gaff, right? You're not really supposed to give a fuck on the internet. But I watched these interviews with the new context in mind, and I got emotional because I think George loved this lady. I think this lady loved George.
Bullshit.
And I think when you watch the interview and you really think about everything that happened since then, again, this was 12 years ago, it is just one of those things that you see in a completely new light.
Kathleen Kennedy lied to George. She told George everything she thought he wanted to hear. She told him everything that he wanted to hear so that she could advance her career and she could be president and that the sale could go through. Remember, Kathleen Kennedy attacked the Star Wars fans a year ago. George Lucas Star Wars fans. Remember, she said about how male Star Wars fans hate female leads in Star Wars, right? And she criticized the fan base for, not be for, Reva and what's her name? Rose Tico and Leslie Headland and the Acolyte. She laid into the fans for not supporting those characters just a year ago. She said things critical of George Lucas, real Star Wars fans. And again, I think this is 100% bullshit. Kathleen Kennedy lied to George, told him whatever she thought he wanted to hear.
And for my part, I was like, damn. Not that I care or give a fuck because it's the internet and I'm cool.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I would, maybe when nobody's around, consider watching these interviews again. And just think about everything that's happened. Think about how the internet can spin things into clickbait gold.
Yes, because obviously Joshy boy here doesn't do that. Obviously, he doesn't do that. Right, chat? Last one.
And man, I got really mean towards Kathleen Kennedy a lot recently, and that will certainly change. I don't know that the entire conversation.
Oh, that's gonna change.
Will change. I don't know that Star Wars will be saved. I don't know that anything actually changes. That's the other part that kind of sucks. Is that I don't know that it even matters. Almost feels like the damage is done. But for my part,
Josh will be there. Josh will be there to shill for Disney Star. He will be there to push Dave Filoni's Ahsoka Season 2, and he'll be there for The Mandalorian and Grogu. He'll be there to tell us all to give it a chance. Give The Mandalorian and Grogu a chance. Give Ahsoka Season 2 a chance, even though it sucked. Season 1 sucked. He'll be there for Starfighter. Even if Ray is confirmed to be in Starfighter, Joshy will be there. Joshy will be telling us all to give Ray another chance. He'll flip-flop on Ray again. Again, there's a video on his channel talking about how Ray is not a Mary Sue. In fact, let's look. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find that video for you guys. I want to see, just so, because, you know, I don't want to be like these shills and come on here and say something without proving that it's true. Let me see if I can find it. If OG Star Wars is in the chat and you have the link, or any of the mods can find it and have the link, please post the link in the chat. I literally typed Den of Shills in the search engine. Den of Nerds, Ray, Mary, Sue. Let me see if I can find it. Here, oh, I found it. I found it right away, chat. Here it is. Here it is. Hang on, let me move some stuff around. Here it is, chat. Look, Ray, Mary Sue, proof that she is not a Mary Sue, with evidence from The Last Jedi, Den of Nerds. Here it is, right here. Why Ray is not a, God damn it. Why Ray is not a Mary Sue.
One of the biggest complaints about the current saga films for Star Wars all has to do with the Rey character. This came from The Force Awakens, where a lot of people said that Rey appeared to be a Mary Sue type character. Well, after watching The Last Jedi, I've actually come to believe that Rey is not a Mary Sue, and there is evidence hidden within episode.
Now, again, Chad, I played the clip earlier. He called Kathleen Kennedy a bitch for possibly inserting Rey into the Starfighter movie.
Episode 8 that showcases that. In this video, I want to break all of that down, talk about some of the ancillary canon materials that showcase the struggles that Rey has had, but also explain why some people still believe that she is a Mary Sue character. Let's talk about it.
There you have it. There's Josh, Den of Nerds, who hates Rey from nowhere, right? We've heard it throughout the weeks, him talking about his hatred and disdain for Rey. Here he is, after The Last Jedi, claiming that Rey is not a Mary Sue character. Den of flip-flops. Den of flip-flops, indeed.